Hey guys, we're really close. We're just ironing out a few things, and we're going to release this locksmith sequence. We discovered that when we started to put them out, they all had the same front pages. Because even though we created a variable routine for the big global variable table, all the inner pages, we didn't have one for the front page. So we thought, okay, let's not do that. Let's do this right. We don't want to go to Bush League now that we came this far. So we're developing that last piece. Another couple of days we'll have it done. And that way when we hit the button, it all turns out unique, right? Every one of them, right on installation. So here, let me just walk you through this real quick. We got the 92 templates uploaded, complete with the zip files, SQL files, everything else into the system. They're all ready to go. I've got the same index preview file here because it doesn't really matter. I didn't feel like creating 92 of these just for in-house use. But we know what we're doing there now. Along with that, like I said, we have a var sheet uploader on the inside of the system. So we uploaded all of the var sheets, okay? And so we have the var sheets that go with each of the installations, okay? So that's totally awesome. They're all matched. They're all ready to go. Everything is so cool. I don't even know what to say. There are like 840 some odd columns on the main var sheet. And then we made a version for each different website to use its own company information, phone numbers and stuff, because it turns out we got a 1-800 number for each phone number or for each website. Okay. So that we're running it out that way. And so then we got the company names together and we submit the list. So now let me show you what that means, because a lot of people go asking. So first thing I want to point out is just we are really that close. Theme ID, var sheet ID, how many rows do you want? We are up to a 27 web page site right now, the base pages. So if we were to do 76,000 subdomains, and that's just, for testing it, there's no point in coming out that big that soon. But if we did, you're talking about 2 million web page sites. So then the question becomes, if we're bulk uploading all this to the destination domain names, how fast does it go? That's the beauty. It's taking us now, just to give you a clue, right? So you got something you can think, because now we're going SQL to SQL. That's what I mean by having the var sheets inside the system, right? So when we're creating the results for the big global variable table over here and creating the results for the base global variable table over here, right? With the right things randomized, the right things organized in both tables. Instead of doing that by uploading an Excel file inside the system, we're doing it SQL to SQL, okay? So here's where we are right now. It takes about 10 seconds to buy a domain name, so all the domain names are on this list, okay? I'm not showing them to you, but they're off to the left, okay? This thing, I could scroll over more to the left. Anyway, the domain names are there, okay? So it takes us 10 seconds to buy a domain name, basically. Takes us about 10 seconds to install a cPanel. Takes us about 10 seconds to upload the entire theme and make the website live. 30 seconds, we buy the domain. From the time we buy the domain to the time the website is totally live, the front end with 840 odd global variables on the base table is like 30 seconds. Another 30 seconds later, the website's like 2 million pages of subdomains, okay? And the only thing we have to do from there is the actual act of getting the SSL wildcards for each of the websites, okay? So I don't know what to tell you. I mean, this is totally amazing. And the way we're doing it is not Bush League. All of the front end pages are coming out different. All the inner pages are coming out different. Everything's going right. Okay, so we're just going through a last feature. We found that after we reorganized the global variable, or the var sheet, it was putting the phone number where the company name should be, stuff like that. So it's like, oh, for God's sake. So we keep dialing it in. So we're going to be done. A few more days, we'll have the whole thing finished, and we'll just take go and just roll. Okay. Now, in the meantime, let me show you the other side of the house, because I got screenshots for all you guys who've been wondering about that. Here's been the most common question. How are we supposed to know that when somebody comes and he calls, maybe clicks to text, right? How's someone supposed to know if, or even just use the contact information, right? And sends an email. How's someone supposed to know if they're even being honest at all about prices or anything. Well, let's start with this. What they give us to listen to and see is physically what they are sharing with the actual locksmiths. You can hear it, you can see it. The calls are live, so you can tell. You can tell that somebody is calling and the technician is putting down notes and sending the notes to the locksmith. Inside the system, we see all that happen. We even see the locksmith they send it to, the name of the actual locksmith in the city that received the job, the real one. And there is an SMS routine that goes on. Sometimes when the locksmith asks the dispatcher questions, wait, did you say to meet the guy in the parking lot, or use the access code to get into the garage to deal with the car in there, or what? So there are SMS messages going back and forth. We see them, okay? Canceled jobs, we see them. The reason for the canceled jobs that are completed, we see that. How much was charged, we see that physically. I'm going to show you that in a minute. So let's start with this notion. Our locksmiths, the dispatch center receives a call. And when they get in a call, what are they going to do? They're going to answer the call. And the person on the other end is going to start talking. They're going to say something. I'm locked out of my car. I broke the key off in the lock. I'm locked out of my house. I broke the key off in the house lock. I'm locked out of my office. It's an electronic keypad and I don't have any idea what the code is, right? And so the person on the phone is going to ask questions and type down the information. That gets sent, the dispatch, to the locksmith. Locksmith sees what's going on, decides whether to accept the job. If they can't, it gets spread wider around the group, and then somebody accepts the job, right, is the idea. We see this stuff happening. Now, when this happens, there are expectations for what this stuff should cost, okay? So already, when the invoice goes to the locksmith, there is a sense that if the locksmith accepts the job, they're going to drive to the location. There's already going to be like a $27 or a $29. Let me just show you. Prices list, okay? This stuff is on every website, along with another one to know, terms. The terms say we're a dispatching center, right? They're saying we're not handling your jobs, we're not responsible for them, we're going to dispatch them to somebody. What does a prices list say? It gives a sense of the fees. Service call fee, just, somebody has to take the time and hop in their car and drive to some location. Whether they do anything there or not, there's going to be a $29 fixed fee. Okay, that's going to happen. Other fees, if it's something like a lockout, commercial, residential, automotive, it's going to start in $19 and go up. If it's locks, rekey, it's going to start here. If it's lock repairs, start there, key extraction. Okay, things get more expensive as you climb up the ladder, right? New lock installation, door without a hole for a lock, starts at $85, right? New vehicle key, like a car, scooter, truck, etc., starts at $100. Why do you think a key or an ignition change or a programming a transponder key or a key extraction can be this expensive? Because when the locksmith uses a laser cutter in their truck, for example, and actually cuts a lock, every time they have to look up that key for that vehicle, there's like a $150 charge to them, okay? Or a $100 charge. It depends on what plan they're on, a weekly, a monthly, or whatever. Just depending on how much volume they do, they're going to choose some plan, okay? So this general stuff gives us a sense already, gives the dispatchers a sense of how much the jobs should be expected to run. Now, of course, when a locksmith gets out there, they're going to try to upsell. Very often, that stuff has to get fed back on the invoice. If not, the dispatch center will sue them for lying or switch to a new provider. And very often, those notes will have to go back and forth anyway. The person who had the problem, if they go to call, they're going to call the dispatch center back. Hey, so-and-so said he was going to give me 2 keys, but accidentally gave me 1. Guess what? If the guy never reported that on the invoice, he must have lied, right? Things like this are risky for a locksmith. So just to make that point. Now, let me take this a lot further because so far this is all cool. Let's go further, okay? Let's take a look at the inside of the system actually and get a sense of things like numbers. So let me just go over a couple of things really fast, okay? If we're handing them like 2,000 jobs a month, and we've been doing this explanation of like 25 jobs, if we can get a fifth of that, you know, per day, 25 jobs per day per metro area, how much would that be, et cetera, just giving you a sense of it. 2,000 jobs a month typically pays around 45 grand to 50 grand a month, okay? That's amazing, right? Like 50 positions would be 50 grand if it was 100% split. It's not, it's an 80% split. So, you know, 50 positions would be 40 grand at this level, right? So why is it worth, why is there a range? It's just a range, right? The more volume we do, the better we get paid. Today, total calls into the dispatch center. At the time we were going through the screenshots and looking at sections of it, there were about 2,500 calls by midday. By their admission, they get between 2,500 and 4,000 jobs a day normally. Okay. Most advertisers work a local area. They have a bunch of guys sending them leads, right? So most advertisers are sending them anywhere from like 10 to 400 a day, with the average being something like 50 to 172 a day. Now, the guy doing like 400 a day spread across the nation, right? The kind of thing we can do very easily now. Okay, no one does AdWords. I was totally surprised. I was saying, okay, you know, once we get it up, then we got to go through AdWords and see which of our websites is performing best, right? Because the Google ads show at the top, most people are calling on a mobile, okay? Their advice, do not pay for AdWords, okay? New websites are much more expensive than older websites, something they threw up. Like a 5-year-old website, those guys are going to pay like 10% compared. Okay, one day maybe. But you know, you could be expecting to pay 50 bucks a click for AdWords, so don't. What I didn't know, all their guys are not paying for AdWords. This 2,500 to 4,000 jobs coming in a day from their guys, they're not paying for AdWords. The guy who's doing 400 a day, over 400 a day, is not paying for AdWords. The guy just, he swore it. Even on, and that's funny because, you know, you would expect a dispatch center that's just trying to be money hungry is going to tell you, try everything, right? But if they're saying don't try AdWords, they're looking out for you. They're trying to make this thing work for you. So we got our phone numbers. They programmed in the company names. We're lining it all up. So even on a mobile phone, you don't need to go for AdWords, and here's why. It's hard to find a locksmith. The guy just reminded me. He said, so I was working with a real locksmith, right? Yeah. And so what I do, I did a search. I saw the results. I clicked the first thing I saw, called, their locksmiths were busy. Okay, what I do then? Scroll down, click the next guy. Scroll down, click the next guy. Scroll down, click the next guy. I actually wound up clicking on like 8, trying to get a locksmith who was available. Okay, I had no idea how hard it would be to get a locksmith. And everybody was like 30, 40 minutes away because they were on a job. I had no idea. So the point is this, though. I had scrolled further than the ads right into the organics, clicking. And I was clicking, and I was thinking to do searches for whatever I could, right? To get this right. Because there was a baby locked in a car. Okay, so that's the point. The hits come through organically. The guys say we're probably going to wind up taking a lot of traffic from their people. A number of their people, which they don't care. That's they take traffic from Locksmith's organic results and sell them the listings back. Let me just show you this, okay? Because you'll love it. It's neat. Okay, here's part of the inside of the system, and just to make the point here, I'm just going to show you a bunch of screens and make points along the way. There's some things I just chose to mark out. Not many, okay? So, say somebody calls whatever the phone number is, sure enough, they're told what to answer in that case. Whatever the phone number is, they're told what to answer in that case. Like 24-hour locksmith service, how may I help you? And then they, you know, this is how they push. Once they realize what they're supposed to say, they push to accept and start in. Then they take the details down. The name of the guy, the location of the guy, any backup phone number if it makes sense, different things about the guy, where is it, where did the source come from, if they're like, how, sir, may I ask how you found this, kind of thing, right? All that stuff is there. We don't need that for the phone numbers, you know, when our calls come through, but it's there. They, like I said, they do SMS very often, messages going back and forth with their guys. They'll put in their notes and so on, and they'll map it, metro it, and they'll be able to push it through to the locksmith down here somewhere. And then the information starts to happen. So this is them entering jobs. So let me just keep going to see what I'm doing here. Am I on? Okay, I guess I was 1. Okay. All right, personal and corporate sources. Okay, check this out. Here is some guy named Jack we checked out. Okay, and we are looking at Jack's results from July 9th, okay, 2018 now, at 12 a.m., first minute of the day, to July, well, 15th is the search, except it was only July 11th at about 5 p.m. Pacific when we ran this guy. So this is like 2.5 days, okay? 9th to at the beginning of the morning to like, midday on the 11th, 2.5 days. What do I want to say? Okay, so these are the jobs that got closed so far. There were like 48 calls came in. Of them, a bunch canceled. 18 are closed and done. 7 or so are still in progress, and 2 are like appointments being set. Okay, anything. So these just came in through Jack. Okay, however it is, he got them the leads, right? So here are the job IDs, and this all happened now. That's my point, over that 2.5 day period. Okay, anywhere from like 9 a.m. on the 9th up to 1:30 on the 11th, kind of thing. Okay, there's the service address. I mean, literally, this is the stuff we see, by the way, inside the system. Okay, what the job type was, so that we have a sense. Was it like a $25 thing, $50 thing, $80 thing, $100 thing and up, or what? And of course, the locksmith's going to talk it up for there. Where did this happen? And the tech rate, okay? How much does the locksmith get out of the profit end? Okay, so whatever the total was, we got to start subtracting. So out of the total comes the parts that the tech had to pay for. Okay, things that cannot be split in terms of profit because it's hard expense. Once that's subtracted, what's left, and how much of it does the tech get? Okay, so once you take like 202 minus 18, right? I mean, just to be dumb about this, 202 minus 18 equals 184, right? And times 0.45 is like what the tech got, is that right? 8280 or 8080, I don't know how exactly that's working, but that's basically it. Profit after the tech is this, okay? Advertiser cut gets calculated depending on volume at the end of the biweekly. So the advertiser cut isn't cut yet. It's got to be figured out based on the advertiser's commission percentage, which is based on volume, okay? Every 2 weeks, okay? That's pretty cool. Now, here's the stuff I thought was neat. 18 closed jobs so far, okay? For a total of 5735.37, which I thought was really neat. 5735.37. Divided by 18 jobs that are currently closed. Each job is averaging about $318.63. Great. Times 18 again. Let's get back there, right? Just to make the point. Minus 775.73, right? 77 or 775.73 equals 49.59 or whatever it is, right? And then the tech profit is anywhere from like 45% to 50% to 55%. I guess depending on how much volume the tech does, right? So whatever the tech profit is, there it is. And that's the point. Once you subtract that out, you're left with the profit after the technician, okay? So this is coming into the dispatch center. They have to take out something for hard costs. They have guys mending phones. They have regular company insurance, regular company rent. It's not going to be a lot on a per call basis because they get a lot of calls. So it's going to be like piecemeal on a per call basis, but it'll be there, okay? And then after that, there's a split. And that split, depending on volume, the higher the percentage, the better the split. But this is awesome because remember how we started this off? We were trying to go through companies that would be providing us leads, right? On behalf of a company, and we'd be trying to get them leads. Well, we aren't paying the dispatch center in that case. We're not bringing leads to the dispatch center. We were bringing leads to the middleman, and they were paying us peanuts. Okay, this is way different. Say that Jack's commission comes to, oh, I don't know, let's say 40% of, at this level, I'm just assuming. So say it's like 40% of the actual profit. So even if you say in 2.5 days, okay, I'm just trying to make this simple. This is Jack. He's working whatever area, but he's not very big. You know, he's getting them like, what was that, 38 leads in, or was it 38 leads? Or 48? 48 leads in 2.5 days. Okay. So you're talking about like 20 leads a day, right? And that's it. That's all he's getting them, 20 leads a day. So let's say out of his 20 leads a day, and then some of them convert. What is this? This is 18, right? There are 7 more in process, and there are 2 more, the appointments are being set. Say, I don't know, 3 more of those close, right? So then the number's going to be higher, isn't it? But let's say out of that 2671, I don't know what, let's say there's 300 expense to the company. I don't know why. I'll put 330 because I just happened to type it out. It was like 2341 left times, let's say 40% equals, all right, then Jack here's making like 936 on this, probably with the extra stuff coming in. It might be like 1100, right? So if it was like 1100 divided by 2.5, he's making like 440 a day on like 20 total leads a day that he gets to the company, whether they convert or not. That's insane. I mean, that's so small, so simple, and yet is paying so well. Okay, so this stuff is really happening. I thought this was neat. I want to make a point here just in case, because I don't want to get sued. I noticed these down here, but I didn't ask for verification. It is highly possible that Avis and Hertz and also Sprint and Yellow call them when they have like an office needs a locks change out because they got rid of an employee who has been there many years and very easily could have copied keys. Or in the case of rental cars where somebody locked the key in the trunk, you know, or whatever else. So I would not be surprised if these things are happening, right? So these are sources bringing in leads, okay? There's 411. It's a local source. This is, I don't know how many of you guys remember this from years ago when I was showing about plumbers and stuff, but I was showing a bunch of screenshots of these guys doing big things, and one of them is 411.com was a huge source for leads. So what do you think we're going to do in terms of backlinking for our websites? 411 with lots of websites, 92 to start. Let's get it cracking, right? Since we have a different phone number on each website, that's cool because we can find a way to work up, or at least even we can do a split on our profit to find a way to pay guys who want to put elbow grease into backlinks, you know, for things like this. They can earn like 10% of the profit pounding away at this. So that can be an open marker. We can assign everyone a website who wants to pound away on it, because the phone numbers are coming free to us and the websites are easy now. So this is, I don't know what to say. We're building a monster here. Let me keep going on these screenshots, right? What I do? I did 101, whatever that is. Let me see if I can make sense of this. So there's that, then that. Okay, so you guys get this so far, right? This is just one guy, not particularly big or anything. He's a pretty small guy, pretty small player. But I think you guys are getting the point. So let's take it a step further. Okay, let me make this bigger. What was this again? Oh yeah, check this out. SMS, job sent, job updates, like, you know, notes coming in and stuff. We get to see this stuff. This is our panel. We get to see what's going on. Check this out. These are like, look at this, total messages, right? This is SMS messages in the system. 129,007, okay? Just saying whatever it's saying, okay? And it's stuff like this. You know, whoever it is, whatever the job is for whoever it was, etc., etc. Have you gotten in contact with the customer? Yes or no. Click to accept, blah, blah, blah. And they're staying on top of it to get these things locked in. That's how they get their sales, right? So all these guys. And I was pretty impressed to notice this. These numbers are changing in real time while we were going through this. I mean, the next one, let me see if I can bring it up. What's that? That's 9 and 3, right? 9, 3, and then 16 total SMS. Okay. Yeah, by the time I was like 2 screenshots further, right? 11, 8, and 23. Whatever, right? So, whatever the notes were, okay? More notes. Let me go back to that one, right? Okay, yeah, that's just, you know, the different jobs, the different locations, the different things are happening with them, and whether the this is actually a question of whether the guy who the job was sent to by SMS message to the locksmith chose to accept the job or not. Okay, and if not, it'll go off to another guy, right? Whoever accepts it first gets it, kind of thing, right? So this is totally awesome, wouldn't you say? It's just, it's there. Okay, here we go. Yeah, just more action in real time. I was really impressed with the real time part, you know. 5 jobs going on. Take a look at this. Okay, SMS stuff, whatever. Here, and a lot of jobs, they're marked different ways with the codes, like OOA is out of area, right? Check the, you know, everything about the appointments, right? What got accepted and what did not, okay? Well, if it got accepted, a code got assigned to it, and the things in the system now, right? And what kind of a job is it, right? All this stuff determines about what the payment should turn out to be. Since the dispatcher knows this when they send the job in, it's already pretty clear what the payment should be coming back out, okay? And so anyway, I'm pretty impressed with the whole thing. I mean, it's a ridiculous amount of money and strength. Check this one out. You're gonna love this, okay? Oh, come on. I'm still like loading the picture. I don't know why. Give me a second. Let me load the picture. All right. This is incoming calls today, you know, from said date to said date, right? What's the source? Of course, we don't get to see other sources. We only get to see our own stuff. I mean, some of this is looking in from the admin point of view with the system, but we still get the transparency. It's the whole point. So we get to know when the calls happen. We get to see the SMSs between the dispatcher and the job tech. It's all transparent. It's like totally transparent. Not just that, we get to know how long the calls were, and we can even listen to them. Okay, we can listen to every single call. We can just listen to them. You guys who got locksmith positions, yes, you are going to get full access to this. You're going to be able to check it out. Okay, this is going to happen. All right. And that's what you're in it for, and that's what you guys made it possible for us to move forward with this. Check this out. There's just more, right? So you can already tell, like, if some of these were spam or misdialed or something kind of useless, okay? And which ones look probably like they're turning into jobs, you know? You can tell. If you're curious, listen, right? Okay. What else? Yeah, okay. This is just showing you an overview, right? Like before choosing between the sources, right? It's kind of like all sources, right? In their system, all the calls were recorded, obviously. Anything that got turned into a job's got a job ID. The sources, whoever the source was, right? This hurts. I would not doubt if this really hurts. Pretty amazing idea, right? You know, bigger players are bigger players, right? But there you go. There's the call durations, all that stuff. Um, it's fascinating. I mean, for these guys to be taking in like 4,000 jobs, and maybe they're, you know, a day, and they're averaging, I don't know, $300 apparently to them, or yeah, what was it? It was like, oh, just the math is insane, right? When we were looking at this, I have to stop and recalculate. It was like 5,700 minus 5,000 for the one guy, you know, or minus 700 for the one guy, left like 5 grand. Divided by 2, profit was something like 2,500 bucks from that guy's 18 jobs. And then if you go 2,500, that's company profit to be split with a guy. Divided by 18 jobs. That's right. That's what I want to find. Oh, okay, like 140 bucks or 160, whatever it was per job. That's what's coming to the dispatch center. If you think that they're getting like 150 per job times 4,000, whoops, a day, it's like 600,000 a day. Okay, these guys are huge, right? And so we want to play at this level with them. It's really amazing to be able to do it. We're just showing the first 1,000 jobs of the day. How's that for crazy? You know, it's all July 11th, right? Yeah. And it's still continuing July 11th. And this is the first 1,000 entries of the day. Okay. Usually about 4,000 jobs taken in by this dispatch center every 24 hours. Okay. That's nuts. All right. That's why we want to play with them. It's going to be too hard to compete with them directly. But if we elbow our way in and start running our stuff out, we're probably going to take a lot of calls away from their competition because we know how to play a bigger game. And even then, the numbers they're like 250,000 locksmith calls a day in the US. They're only taking in about 4,000 of them out of 250,000. Let's do the math. 4 divided by 250. They've only got like 1.5% of the market at that rate. Okay, they only got 1.5% of the market at that rate. Fine. That's leaving 98.5% that we can still play with without taking anyone's jobs, right? But I love this. I love the fact that so far 27 out of 48 of Jack's current jobs have some kind of action. Okay. Again, Jack, right? This week 7/9 to whatever it is, and it's not, like I said, it's July 11th, right? Is literally when we were looking at this. We're looking at the week of, but it's only 2.5 days in. He brought in 48 total jobs. 18 were closed. That's good. That means money's coming. 21 were canceled for whatever the various reasons were, out of area, whatever. 7 are going by appointment still. Or they're trying to land an appointment. I got to verify what that means. 2 are in progress physically right now as we speak. 2 are happening right now as we speak. There are always going to be some happening right now, right? None are out of area. None are reported to be out of area. None are pending close right now. Okay. For anyone who goes, how do you know that they really canceled? Again, go back to the phone calls and listen, but I got another thing to show you. Closed report. His jobs that got finished, we already, I think I was showing you this, right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can't believe how cool that is, right? Just to see it, right? 18 jobs are currently closed, another 7 that are going by appointment, and 2 that are happening now. So probably within half an hour, that number jumped up to 20 anyway, if not 22 or something, right? And they're getting paid whatever they are, you know? The job totals were whatever they were, and the leftovers was from whatever it was. Absolutely nuts to see it, okay? But the other thing I want to point out, canceled report, okay? If any jobs got canceled, why did they get canceled? You know, there are canceled jobs. So we were looking at the canceled jobs for the same exact period of time, 2.5 days, same 2.5 days, right? And it would say something like this. I called to advise that we have no tech available that will be able to make the key for the car. It's high security, dealer only. Offered to open the door, but didn't need it done, whatever. Tried this, tried that, charged this, offered that, did this, whatever with that. Somebody said that they were going to have one of their friends' dads do it. Somebody said it's too expensive. Somebody didn't answer. Somebody said they're calling around and shopping, you know, blah, 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 blah. Inform the customer that we cannot make the key and the car's unlocked anyway. They need a new key, but customer doesn't need service, right? They need a key that can't be made by these guys, right? So all this stuff, it just happens. Anyway, there you go. Canceled report. How's that for cool? Guys, that's it. That's all I need to show you for right now, you know, because everything else from here is just, that's it. I mean, now for all you guys who are in, you have locksmith positions. You're going to be able to get into the system totally and see the stuff, watch the stuff, see what's going on. All the access I have, you'll have. You'll be logging in through my account. So you're going to get access, okay? And then, yeah, I don't know what to say. We're going to be able to grow, take over the metro areas. We've got the whole lists. What? There are just so many things to say, right? We already figured out what we're doing with the names of the individual websites. We've got the city list to go on. It's massive, the full city list. We've got everything we need. global variables, base GB files. If we were to take a look at this, for instance, let me take a look. Okay, we'll definitely start with these 35 cities anyway. Okay, Birmingham, Alabama, Phoenix, Arizona, Little Rock, Arkansas, Los Angeles, California, Denver, Hartford, Miami, Atlanta, Chicago. We're definitely going to hit these areas, the metro areas and all around them. All right, so if you have, 35 cities, just kick off, right? This is just to get it going. 35 cities times how many general keywords that are useful because they're up front. Like keywords are going to happen pretty quick anyway. 103, so like 100, right? So you've got like 3,600 page website right on the fly for each of those websites, right? That'll be our launch, softly and carry a big stick. Get it indexed, get it going. We have sensible backlinking happening, nothing crazy. All of our content right now is above the fold, looks good. Images are all unique. Everything's controllable. There will be an admin panel on every website. We'll be able to control SEO on each website independently in real time. We'll be able to get guys doing backlinks. So we'll be able to get guys logging in and doing SEO tricks or techniques. What happens if you have, say you have 10,000 subdomains on a website, okay? Yeah, I don't care. Let's start with this. Say you start with the 3,600 subdomains, right? Which is cool. And then somebody comes in and decides to add one new page to the website. Well, you really just added 3,600 new pages to the website, and they can use all the global variables in the system. We have 840 something to choose from on every website. It's endless. The ability to step in and add to, update, download a big global variable file, add a global variable to the base and something to the big, and then re-upload it immediately. The ability to add new pages and just sort of sprinkle in some of the global variables that exist already. Piece of cake, okay? So yeah, this system is as big as you can imagine. And we can hit pretty much anything we want with it. As soon as we put this stuff out, we're going to show it to the garage door guys. But they are itching to see. And we are probably going to start building from right away because that's going to happen. Less competition by far than Locksmiths. Just because, of course, there are fewer sales all the way around. But the Locksmith thing, like I said, fell in our lap. And it's totally valuable. And the garage door thing will be likewise. By the way, two more things I'm going to wrap up with before I leave. One, we've been going back through all the LPE websites, okay? So we're going to put you guys into the ones that we're going to focus on first that we're blitzing out. All the co-op, well, like a co-op for each industry. We want to kick it off. Get it ready. The difference between the LPE websites and what we have now, of course, what we have now are T2HA websites, which are T2HB, right? Theme to HTML Blitz websites, which is more powerful than HTML Blitz. That's all. Considering how easily you can log in and do stuff with the CMS. So, yeah, we're going to start doing these for different industries and hitting up dispatch centers with them. So we're going to open up for garage door when we're ready. Here's the thing. Now that we set this much up and we know what we're doing and we program the heck out of this, adding on, doing, diversifying into new industries for new dispatch centers who offer likewise transparency in their system that we can see and hear everything and trust it. As we pick those guys out, okay, garage doors is next. We'll go for an auto tow guy. We'll go for lawyer center dispatch if we can do that. Find the best lawyer in your area kind of thing. Or get lawyers calling you with the bid kind of thing. Anything and everything like that, we're going to start diving into and opening up positions for, and you guys can get into what you want. This is going to be cool. It's just going to be cool because we're going to be able to open new industries every couple of weeks and just grow them, okay? This will be like a stock market where the stocks just keep going up. I mean, I hate to put it that way because it's not really a promise, right? The disclaimer is, who knows? But the reality check is I have never in my life imagined that we can produce in 1 minute a 2 million page website, and in the very next minute do it again, and in the very next minute do it again, all with different everythings. All we had to do was set up the basis before we released the project. Okay, so a week or two per industry to hammer out all the content. That's a lot of content. Okay, to hammer out all the content, to create the unique image stacks, which is easy now for us. We can do, like, I think it's 1600 or is it 1800 images per hour, totally unique per computer, by the way, because we can run these automated. So we can have a few computers sitting next to each other just pounding them out. Okay. The structure and the organization that allows the installations, almost done, almost got all the bugs out. And then we're going to be able to just totally run with it, right? And it's push button. We're replacing a whole army of people who are pounding away, getting paid $60,000 a year each to produce quality content for websites and SEO work, for any company, with a push button for the industry. That's what's happening, okay? And you guys really helped us make it so. So again, thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the patience with us and just letting us work and fall behind schedule, because programming's like that, right? It's just a pain. But we build a monster, and you guys get to ride that wave, and you're the first guys we turn to for everything we do now, because we can really take things over. We can open industries as fast as we want, and we, like a tsunami wave, just crash over the top and take over whatever we want. Start taking leads from other sources, and if the dispatch center ever lets us down, we pull back, change the phone numbers for the next guy, and put it up. We'll just call a couple and say, hey, we're thinking about moving. Here's the deal we're getting now. You guys want to offer a better deal? And there are going to be guys, hell yeah. How much volume are you doing? Oh, we're doing this much volume. Oh, month? A day. What? What do we have to do to win your business? And that's just it. And when it's a percentage of true revenue from true deals, then it's everybody's happy. And so this is going to work. And our tool moves so easily, it ensures it. That's the only way I can see it. Okay? So yeah, this is totally awesome. Thank you so much.